Right. So we have people that come in, you're not usually disagreeing. They know they have to get rid of the property one way or another. It's either sell it, refinance it, or even someone staying in the home and keeping the current mortgage if they can't refinance. They're not usually, not at least our clients, because we're not, we're doing more amicable style cases here as opposed to litigated cases. So they're trying to work on it, but sometimes they have questions like, what are my options? So I brought up some other slides here that I wanted to kind of just go over, see if this is going to cooperate. I gotta go down, up, okay.
One of the things that we find, and I know we'll probably get to this further in the conversation, but when somebody's looking for a real estate agent to handle their divorce, there has to be a clearly laid out plan, and it has to involve rules that cannot be broken or sacrificed by any of the party, including the real estate agent. So these are actually written out rules. How are all the parties going to communicate? How are they going to express themselves throughout the transaction? How are they going to come to an agreement? Because it could be, for example, you put a property on the market at a pre-agreed to price from both parties, let's say $500,000, and then one of the parties changes their mind and says, well, we want more. Right. So now we're kind of stuck. So all of these things, a professional agent's that knows divorce is going to have them written out, and there's going to be rules, and all parties have to sign it.
So you have a specific agreement kind of between them.
Absolutely.
Aside from, this is not a real estate form, this is something that you have them kind of contractually say, hey, this is what we agree to do.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's smart.
And even with the form, I mean, ultimately, is it going to hold up in court? Who knows? But at least it's going to keep us out of harm's way, because on that form itself, there are other methods that hold me accountable and my staff accountable to. Right. For example, in the attorney world, and you were a cop for a long time and so on, so was I, that ex parte communication, the parties going and speaking with one another outside of everybody else's earshot when they shouldn't be, not speaking to those other parties. We established that on this form that we have our clients sign. That's not to take place. If we're all in agreement, I can't accept a phone call from one of the sellers, because it takes two to get divorced, right? I can't accept a phone call without having the other party involved, even if it's to ask me something that seems very innocent.
Because all it takes is one thing for them to say, oh, you were talking to my spouse, and that's it,
done.
Right? That's
yeah, oh, and I thought we had this agreement, and without the agreement, all that stuff is null and void. So that's why we have it all established on paper, so when we get to that point in the process, and it's happened, somebody call, hey Connor, it's Mr. Smith, I know you're taking care of our real estate with regard to our house and our divorce and such, but I just had a quick question. Well, Mrs. Smith now finds out that Mr. Smith talked to me, and I actually gave him an answer, even something innocent that doesn't have to do with anything. Now that's a violation of trust.
Right.
So it has to be put down